Oh, it makes me sick just thinking about it.
So that lady's going to die soon too then?
It's broken. That's heartbreaking.
I could not believe it because it's the second time in a week. I thought I did.
Well, clearly you didn't. Hello, everybody.
Hi. Welcome to the Unhelpful Parenting Podcast.
Yes.
I'm Beck.
Sam.
And we're here to laugh today. We got some good laughs for you.
We do.
The confessional has been on and off lately. We've had a few, like if you go back through the last few episodes, you'll see we've had a few weeks where we have not had it. So today is a bit of confession catch up. So we've got a lot of confessionals and that's the majority of what we're going through today. Some really funny ones. I do still have a parents in the news to slot in, just like you probably have a...
Random ass facts by Beck.
Just like you have a dad joke every week, I get to bring a cool fact that I found on the news. But before we get into that, or anything really, let's just dive straight in with our yays or nays for the week. Do you want to go first?
No, your turn.
Okay. I never say no.
As if that ever changes.
I am yaying school holidays are about to begin.
You're yaying now?
Well,
You used to nay this.
I am in the phase where I'm excited
We've
for
changed.
it. No, we haven't. I'm just in this phase. They haven't started yet. So I'm really looking forward to all the extra time I know we're going to get. And I'm like really excited
Stay tuned
for
for
it.
January. There will be some nays and it will be school holidays probably.
I'm hyper aware that usually by the end of school holidays, I'm like, please bring back school. Not because I don't love my kids, but because I miss routine and I love my job. I love what I get to do at work. So I miss that sometimes too. And it's a bit of a, we need the kids to go to school sometimes. So... but I am on the yay side of school holidays right now, so I'm yaying. I'm really excited to get some more time with the kids, and we do still have vacation care booked, so I do still hopefully this one will go better than the last lot where I was like, help me.
You've forgotten vacation care.
I forgot to book it in last time and I was like, help me. So anyway, that's my yay. My nay. And a lot of parents can probably relate to having issues getting your kids to go to bed. It seems to be like one of those things that is really difficult to do. And we are having a lot of struggles with our 5-year-old getting her to go to sleep at night. And it doesn't matter what time. We've tried different bedtimes. We've tried different routines. She just hates going to sleep.
She just lies there. And it's like, close your eyes. I don't want to. I can't.
She flips around and flops around.
Go to sleep. I can't.
Well, so the nay is that it's really hard to get her to go to sleep. But the reason I brought it today, and probably more of a funny confession more than anything, she was lying in bed the other night, sitting there, and I told her so many times to stop talking, be quiet. Usually I'm sitting in the rocking chair next to her with the baby, getting the baby to sleep as well, if it's just me.
Yes, if you're in.
If it's just me, I've got the kids on either side rocking chair with the baby. And so a lot of the time I'm like, just be quiet, kid's going to sleep, be quiet. This time she like crawled up to me, really like worried look in her face. And I was like, what's wrong? She's like, Mummy, I'm so bored.
Trust me. No one is more bored than Mummy and Daddy.
Sitting there waiting for you to go to sleep. I was like, that's good. You have to be so bored you fall asleep. Lie there and keep being bored.
That just means
my gosh.
that just opens the conversation of she just needs to learn to go to sleep by herself.
Oh, yeah, we're working on it. That's a whole thing.
Because if that, who cares then? Because we're not there. Oh. So she can take as long as she wants to go to sleep.
Yes. So the joys.
Kids.
Yeah. We have zero sleep hacks either. Like if you're here... Well, we're the Unhelpful Parenting Podcast, so don't come here for sleep help.
But if you have ideas...
chuck them in the comments right now. We'll take them.
Yeah, fun. My nay is a real stinker.
I know what it is now.
So we had a smell around the house for what, a month or two?
Yeah, we mentioned it on the podcast. If you're a frequent listener, you would have heard that we've had a mystery smell.
So,
which has you nervous at first. We were like, where's the missing nappy? Like,
no, but then it turned.
Yeah.
And started smelling bad, worse.
And we were looking for a dead animal.
I hit on Saturday and I went, you know what? F this. I'm done. I'm finding it. We found it.
We found it?
Okay, Beck found it. I actually didn't see it because it's like hidden. But inside the back of the fridge is the condensation drip tray.
Which we did not know existed.
Well, you don't normally have to because normally it just drips and the heat coil is in it, evaporates it. Hooray presto.
Important to note though, we had pulled the fridge out multiple times.
Checked
could
down
not
the
smell
side,
it,
could
checked
not.
down the back.
Just hidden. Anyway, something had decided to make a home in there and burnt on the coil and was rather potent and hard to clean.
You just really under-described how disgusting. It was like the tray was like goo and like
it was crispy.
Yeah, well, it
dried.
Burnt.
But then the water that wasn't heating, wasn't evaporating, was was gooey.
So
and the stench was like, we took it outside, hosed it, and you could smell it standing away from the and it was.
So public service announcement: your fridge might have an unknown drip tray in it, and if you have a stinky smell,
go and check it.
You can't blame the kids for it. Go check your tray. That's as helpful as we get. It's nice to. I didn't realize.
So that was my Saturday afternoon.
I didn't realize how bad our house had smelt though. Like I think I had gotten quite used to the smell because once it went away, I was like, I noticed it went away.
I didn't think it went away for a whole day because I think I was so stuck in my nose.
Yeah, well, you're the one who got in and scrubbed
Literally every smell under the sun, I was like triggered by it.
After the amount of nappies I have done for you, I just had zero
you couldn't
sympathy.
give an absolute
I could
stuff.
not even care. Sam's default when one of the kids does a poo is to send them to me. He's great. Like, he's a good dad. He does change nappies. I would
have just thrown the tray.
There are times where
but it was really bad.
Me. But... yes, I did not feel sympathetic to you. You'd already given me 2 dirty nappies that day that you were like, no, can you please? So I was like...
I don't beg. I just send. But yeah, that was nasty.
What's your yay?
It makes me sick just thinking about it. My nay is no more smell.
Yay.
Yeah, that's it.
Smell. Yeah, we found it.
Yay, my yay.
I as gross as it was like, we found this smell. Like it was like a full accomplishment.
The sad part was like,
and yay, it's not a dead
pull out
rat.
the fridge, see it, and Beck's like, what about that? And I went, knelt down, gave it one big sniff.
You went way too close to sniff
nearly
it
hurled. I was like, that's it, found it.
But check your fridges, everyone.
But fridge is friggin' bloody spotless now.
Yeah. Great. All right, well, bring us back to not disgusting smells. Although on the Unhelpful Parenting Podcast, there's usually a smell or two involved in the storytelling.
Oh. I thought you were trying to say something else then. Well, so because you have your random ass facts by Beck, I've got 3 little dad jokes today.
You're trying to get 3 in. Mm-hmm. All right, they better be good though.
I don't know. My wife left me because I'm too insecure. No, wait, she's back now. She just went to go get some milk. This is actually a thought I've had for a while though.
Yeah.
This isn't a dad joke, but have you ever thought about the word queue? Like I'm in the queue?
Yes, Queue.
Yeah. How ironic that is. It's literally the letter Q with a bunch of letters waiting behind it. Anyway.
I feel like that was meant to be a dad joke. Add that to the list. There's number 2.
Bunch of silent letters waiting in a line. Anyway. This is more of an ironic thought. All of my childhood punishments have now become my adult dreams. Minus eating vegetables. Staying home, taking a nap, and going to bed early.
Amen. I'm just going to go do something. I'm just going to go start drawing on the walls and see if someone sends me to bed now.
Naughty corner. Anyway.
Go to bed. Have a nap.
And now it's time for Random Ass Facts by Beck.
Also known as Parents in the News. This is the part of the show where I find
random ass facts.
Most news websites, especially more of your global news, have odd story sections, and
it's because they're trying to go for clickbait.
No, I've always loved them. No, even pre-clickbait news, like even some newspapers, back traditional news used to have like the odd spot.
I was going to say, what's a newspaper?
Back in the day, back in the olden days.
Back when I was... Anyway, continue.
Anyway, so this one is from a global news site. Because, like, weird stuff happens all over the world. Weird parenting stories in the news everywhere.
Carry on.
This one is in Japan. A kindergarten was struggling with a shoe thief situation. Because in Japan, obviously, it's very normal.
I'll take your shoes off.
Cultural to take your shoes off at the door everywhere you go. It's also a very respectful culture. So thievery and things like that are not dealt with very well. So the police thought a shoe thief was on the loose at a kindergarten in southwestern Japan. Teachers and parents had feared it could be a disturbed person with a shoe fetish. And after 15 shoes disappeared, they called the police. Police installed 3 cameras in the school only to find that it was a weasel stealing the shoes.
I was going to say it was an animal of some sort.
It had taken another 6 by the time they worked it out. The shoes are now protected by netting, but the weasel, which is believed to be wild, is still on the loose. That's like 21 shoes though. That's a lot. Like, you think you've got issues sending your kids to childcare and not getting all their stuff back and like getting paint on shirts.
Not one kid losing 21 shoes though.
Yeah, but I wonder how many kids actually had to lose their shoes before they realised too, because kids lose everything at kindy. You send extra clothes and they disappear. And
7.5 feet, like as in like pairs. So
that's a lot of shoes.
7 kids had no shoes and 1 kid had one shoe.
That's a lot of.
But yeah, weasels are weaselly.
It'd be so funny. Especially, I think the funny part is they were so geared up for like, there's a pedophile, like there's some creepy person, like foot fetish person stealing.
I don't think they went that far, but
if someone's like stealing kids' shoes, kids' shoes.
Yeah, I would automatically go, this doesn't sound like a person.
Well, obviously enough teachers and parents did that the police installed 3 cameras.
Well, they're silly, aren't they?
Well, no, like again, cultural thing. Like,
yeah, but
anyway, we have a lot of stories in the confessional today. So
I was hoping it'd be a panda.
Are you?
I like pandas. Anyway.
I don't think it's like pandas just roam the streets of Japan.
I think pandas are Chinese anyway. So
into the confessional, let's go. All right, so last week we were talking about kids crying and the funny reasons kids cry. Someone sent this in as a confessional, but it kind of follows on from that my toddler was inconsolable this week because his poo came out in 2 pieces. Just no one prepared us for parenting on that level. There was no, like, we knew we'd be tired, we knew it would be hard, we knew, like, there'd be meltdowns, but having to console a child because their poo came out in 2 pieces.
His poo broke. It's broken. That's heartbreaking.
Man, the things that you have to deal with that just you don't expect. And sometimes you just don't feel like, it's like, does this only happen to us? And which is probably how we started this podcast, the amount of things that happened. And we were like, does this only happen to us? We can safely say after 30 something episodes, it does not just happen to you. It does not just happen to us. This is part of the ride and it's hilarious. So speaking of hilarious, our dog recently passed away. He lived a long, happy life and was extremely old, so he explained to our 4-year-old that he had gotten very, very old and gone to dog heaven. Unfortunately, we were at a cafe with a semi-elderly lady at the table next to us, and they took one look and said, so that lady's going to die soon too then?
She's very old and she's going to die. That's unfortunate.
It's so hard. We have so many confessions come in of people who
Of kids.
of adults who've tried to explain something in a child-friendly way to a child and it's backfired and gone in a way that you didn't expect or you didn't plan, or it's like...
Still, that's like...
She looks old. Is she going to die?
It's just kids, though. They're so brutal. I have one. My daughter yelled, "That's enough," at church on the weekend after they made us stand up again one too many times for her. Yeah, the old churches are there. Sit down, stand up. Sit down, stand up. Sit down, stand up. All right, that's enough. Pick one.
Kids are awesome.
They would be
Those moments.
speaking everyone else's mind.
Yeah, those moments are
Let's be
always
real.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
next
pretty
one.
good.
You have to be good. Because it's about the pandemic.
What pandemic?
I said you have to be
There was a
good.
pandemic? It was just a cough.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
I'll never forget, during the pandemic, my daughter would fake cough every time she'd see people in masks. She had associated masks with sickness from earlier times in her life, so she was just having fun and trying to be part of it. But of course, any kind of coughing in public back then was met with the worst stink eye, and everything in me would just wish she'd just stop. But you also can't yell, "Stop coughing," at your kid without even more questionable looks.
That's pretty funny. I used to do it at the shops. If someone was just standing too close, you'd go, and they go. It was great for personal space.
I loved the social distancing. I wish that never went away. Like, that was awesome. Not everything else that came with it, but the social distancing. I remember after like things had started to go back to normal, having someone stand right next to me behind me in the queue at the grocery shop and just being like, they weren't technically too close.
Yeah, but that's
But I'm
normal.
like, no, that was my space. Give me my space back.
But that's normal.
No, but I will say I didn't mind having the extra personal space.
Insert something about the government here.
This is not a place to vent about the government. This is a place to vent about parenting and
I'm
kids.
not.
I told you to be good. I prefaced this.
We were travelling with our toddler. Like most toddlers, he had an accident the day before with a big bruise on his head from running headfirst into a door frame.
Been there.
Classic. He looked pretty beat up. While we were about to board, the gate crew member mentioned how beautiful our kids were. He looked at them all beat up looking and said, "I don't belong to these people."
Great. Just what you want in like a security sensitive place. It's like the one we had before of the toddler screaming.
Where do they come up with, "I don't belong to the..." It's a toddler.
Where do they come up with anything? One of our friends who will remain anonymous, her child, I was there the other day, her child just started yelling, like when she told her to do something, "You're ruining my life." I was just like, oh, solidarity, because I know they come out with these things and it's harsh, but oh my gosh, they just learn things.
That's when you go, "No, I'm not, but I very well can."
One of ours the other day was having a big tantrum and was like, "Fine then, I'll have no family."
Okay, bye.
Well, that's obviously not how I reacted, because we're developing fundamental core memories right now, and Mummy doesn't care if I'm part of the family is not one that I want to create.
It's just end of year school tiredness.
Yeah. All right. Here's one. My 1-year-old baby woke up mega early this morning and started squawking like he does to get our attention. Then he suddenly went quiet. I got excited thinking he went back to sleep, but then I thought, no, he doesn't work like that, not at 5:30. And sure enough, when I went in, he'd somehow weaseled his hand out far enough to reach a pen that an older child had left on the floor nearby and had drawn all over his sleeping bag, all over his cot, and all over his face.
Yeah. Never leave a pen in the kids' room.
Confession?
You did. You had this happen.
When we get home, please remind me to put the sheets and the sleeping bag in the washing machine. Because that was us this morning.
This morning?
Literally this morning. I'm glad you weren't mean to whatever the parent was that sent that in, because that was me. I was waiting to see how you'd respond before I fessed up or not. Oh, I could not believe it, because it's the second time in a week. I don't know how. I don't even know.
So move the freaking pen.
Well, I thought I did.
Well, clearly you didn't.
I thought I did. I thought I moved all the stuff, but obviously I left one behind, and he found it at 5:30 this morning.
Well, he's graduated from drawing on his face.
It's all over the bed.
To drawing.
And all over his, like, sleeping bag. It's just like...
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't eat the damn thing.
I was pretty glad that he did not have that for breakfast. No ink poisoning for breakfast. Thank you. But...
That's why we can't have nice things.
At least it's funny now because he's the last. I'm not so worried, like, if sheets get ruined, I'm like, okay, I can just chuck them. Whereas, like, for the others, I was like, no, I want to keep them and use them. And of course, I'm not trying to waste things, but at the same time, my, like, care level.
Third child, care level. Yep. Move the freaking pen, please.
Oh, I will. I didn't realize my keyboard that I play, the only room in the house for it is next to his cot. So I obviously don't play it when he's asleep. But I had to write on some music. And I swear I did not put it at the end where he could reach. I don't know how his little go-go gadget
I'm pretty sure you wrote
out.
here that that an older child had left. I'm pretty sure that's you.
No, like the kids had to have been playing on the piano and moved it or something, because I don't know how else.
Yeah.
Anyway, story of my life.
Your pen.
Cleaning up after children.
Wasn't my pen. I was doing the school run one rushed morning because my wife was sick. Our 6-year-old was used to my wife taking him most mornings, so he started getting into her car in the garage while I was grabbing the bags. I yelled out to get in my car instead because I was taking him. I jumped in the car and got halfway to school before I got an angry call from my wife, who had found our child locked in the garage. He hadn't quite made it into the car, and I was in such a hurry that I thought he was in and ready to go. I hadn't seen him in the reversing camera, and my brain hadn't caught up. Needless to say, we were very late.
You need some coffee.
That's that old stressed, rushed chestnut that ends up butting in the ass and making you way later than you could have been.
There's like some of our children I know that will never happen to because they're so loud. You know that they're not in the car if they're not in the car. But one of our quieter ones.
Our garage is too small for kids to get in, so you can't do that anyway.
But obviously if there's 2 cars in the garage, there's space in this garage for a child to have not quite made it in the door yet.
The freaking dream. The double garage. That's how you know you're getting old as a parent.
Oh yeah, the things we want in our future house. It's
That's what a double garage. Freaking double garage. Anyway, continue. Bloody units. Anyway,
all
continue.
Right, we've still got two more confessions left.
Fire up.
We were out at a very busy restaurant. We were sat on the main path on the way to the doors to the bathroom. My daughter asked what was through the doors, and I said that's where the bathrooms were. She proceeded to ask every person who came out of the doors whether they'd done a poop. We couldn't stop her, and she was not quiet about it. Yes.
Did you do a poo?
I love these stories.
Did you do a wee or a poo?
I feel like most of my embarrassing stories now are because I have kids, like, are related to kids. It's no longer like I did something silly or I forgot something or I said something I shouldn't have.
Well, no, it probably still all happens. It's just the kids are funnier.
So much funny. And I love that. I bet too, between every person, I'm sure they would have had the conversation about, honey, we don't talk about that. Like
let's not ask people.
In our house, we're like, we don't use toilet words. We're not talking about toilet words.
I literally dropped off to school today and there were 4 boys at the gate and they were like, bye-bye, poo-poo head. I was like, I cannot say anything back, but I had the best response. And I didn't want to become a 5-year-old and be like, you're a poo-poo head. And then leave.
That would have been funny though. I'd love to see a dad one day just melting down at the gate. Being
You're
like,
a freaking poo-poo head.
You're a poo-poo head. I can just picture it.
Just snaps. Check in on a couple of weeks and see if I've snapped.
But you can't.
I need a holiday.
Kids come out with some stuff sometimes and it's like, just, no, don't say that.
Oh, yeah, and everything you say you can't say because they're children. It's normally not PG.
Put it back. Don't say it.
Or it becomes a thread or something and it's inappropriate.
They're great. No filters.
Speaking of school, my son's teacher recently told me a funny story from class. They were talking about the weather and she asked him what his favourite season was. Apparently, he hadn't picked up the context or wasn't listening and replied with garlic salt.
Oh, that's great.
Personally, I prefer winter. Because I like the snow. We've got a friend going to Banff in like a week. I'm so freaking jealous.
So unrelated to garlic salt.
Context.
And parenting
talking
in
about
general.
the weather and the seasons. I like winter. I want to have a snowy white Christmas.
That's a distant relation.
Got to do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the bucket list. Give the kids a white Christmas.
Yeah, when they're a bit older though, I just cannot imagine. I don't know how people do like toddlers and nappy blowouts and food everywhere on like winter clothes when you've got to change layer after layer after layer. I know obviously people do it.
You're not outside in the bloody cold.
Yeah, but like we spend a day at the zoo, we're all outside. Like I guess you don't do that.
I'm not going to go to the zoo in 0 degrees. All right, kids, everything's frozen over. Let's go to the zoo.
Do they have zoos in countries like?
I doubt it.
I suppose not. I'm so used to just our like Queensland lifestyle where we just spend all day every day outside. So excuse me and my little bubble, my little cultural bubble.
Like you would go out into the snow, but anyway.
Yes. Well, but you see, also, I don't think our kids would do well. You see these videos of these European kids that jump on a snowboard and like 3-year-olds are snowboarding and they're all so coordinated. Our kids are not. They've got my genetics. They're just not coordinated whatsoever. Our little like 14-month, he's almost 15 months old. He's still not walking because he's like just wobbling around everywhere. And I'm like, great. And the story about the confession about the kid running into the door frame and having the bruise on his head.
Was that our kid too?
No, it's not our child, but it could have been. I was like, understand that one. He progressively always has 3 different bruises on his forehead at any one time.
Always has bruises.
It doesn't help that his head is so big.
No, it's just boys.
No, his head is that big.
It's just boys in general too.
feel
They
like it's
just
just
they
weighed
literally
down.
just go, all right, I'm gonna go for a run, and just full pelt. It's like, mate, watch where you're going.
Oh, thank you everyone for sending in those stories. They were gold. I'm sitting here right now trying to work out what we want to do next week because I am so inspired by these confessions. I reckon we do funny things your kids have said in public again. Because
I suppose that's been a while.
it's been a while and did you do a poo? To every person who comes out of the bathroom is just gold. So please send
that'll
us
work.
in your funny stories of what your kids have said in public. The most
Do it.
embarrassing, funny, laughable thing. Inappropriate. And also any of your other confessional stories, especially if you've left the kid behind, locked them in the garage, or whatever you've done that's been a
Deliberate or accidental.
maybe don't send us. I deliberately locked my kid in the garage.
That's a good confession.
But send us your stories. We are ready to laugh. We are still collecting the Christmas stories, or holiday vacation stories, all of them. If you've had a plane flight disaster, a vacation,
Christmas present fail.
Christmas
family
lunch,
fail,
family dinner,
everything, drama.
Send them in because we are collecting them. They will probably start the week after next. I reckon we'll start doing a holiday season thingo.
What holiday? Is that what we're going to call it? The holiday season?
No,
thingo?
we will come up with something much more creative. Taking ideas, add them in the comments if you have them. Make sure you're following us on socials. We share a lot of these clips there and people add extra stories. Last week, if you loved what the pregnant mums sent in, there's been like over 50 comments on, I think, the TikTok account and then more on all the other channels as well of people sharing their funny stories.
Gold.
So The laughs continue, so make sure you're following us on socials to be a part of that. And I also try and put the questions out there every week there so that you can be a part of the show as well.
Yes.
Show us some love. Help the podcast reach some more parents that just need a bit of a laugh. We all need this. This is something we all
share
just
it,
need.
like, comment, watch, reveal, post.
Reveal.
Share.
I'm just trying to think what's the reveal. Anyway, come back next week and we'll be here to laugh some more.
Bye.